Welcome. This is the first recorded video from the Great Lakes Invitational. We're going back to a few years back if you're following the videos in published order, but this is actually the first video I've ever recorded, and I'm finally getting around to providing some commentary just to get it done. This is way back on May 30th, 2015. Anyone that's been anticipating seeing the full set of recorded videos and figuring out what happened in that Swiss tournament, now is your chance. I'm playing on the right as Blue Sun, and Chris is on the left playing as Silhouette. It wasn't a common ID back then either. The latest pack released was Chrome City. Jackson was still legal. This was for the A&R Players Circuit, Detroit area. We were here in Wixom, Michigan. Back then for this was pretty new fan organization before, way before NISA was doing organized play. It was just a supplemental, kind of at the height of popularity for Netrunner. So let's see. Chris is starting off, just setting up some resources. I'm defending all the main R&D and HQ, and defending Jackson there, which was still legal before any rotation. And so it's building up Cotty Jones and has Mr. Lee providing some good card selection. I am on a kill deck here with Blue Sun, getting a lot of economy and making it really hard to avoid getting flatlined, competing with big ice. That would be expensive to break. So I like to put a lot of pressure with scoring out agendas as quickly as I can before the runners set up and has more economy, and getting them to start running through my ice multiple times and recovering my credits back with the Blue Sun ability. Looks like Chris is just building up some more credits and loading up Cotty and setting up. No breakers yet, but I think there was a siphon in his hand. So I think I'm looking for an oversight AI or something else, some more economy. I don't think I have any economy resources yet. Okay, it looks like there's hedge fund right there. I'm sticking out these mini poker chips, so in stacks of 5. So it looks like I'm around 15 credits at that point. Can't quite tell exactly how much Chris has, but not quite as much. But looks like Cotty has maybe 6 or 9 credits, probably 9 credits already. So he could possibly start contesting. Looks like he's checking HQ, just a cheap ice wall. I'll have to bounce off of that. I'll have to probably replace it next turn, just in case he has a corroder and a siphon to follow up. Looks like he's loading Cotty some more and has Plasticrete down already. Okay, I'm passing the turnover, so I'm taking the ice wall down, getting my credit back. I think that's the mandatory draw. Replacing it doesn't look like I shuffled too much, but looks like I did have another ice there for HQ. Just avoiding siphon at all costs. That was the game back then. Is don't get siphoned. It's just a huge tempo swing with nearly 15 credits. Also keeping hydrated there with water bottle. It's always important to have as much water during these games believe this is the first or second round. Oh, and I missed saying. So I mulliganed into this. Chris kept his hand. Okay, it looks like he has Corroder. Let's see if I have like an Archer or Road Turret to trash it. I think I might have set up Ice Wall behind anyway, and some kind of second gear check or another ice possibly that trashes programs in front of it, just to and use the Ice Wall end the run as my stopgap. Looks like just a mandatory draw so far, defending Archives. Silhouette could possibly have Sneak Door, since she has a on successful runs for HQ ability. Not that I'm making her guess too much about guessing too much with unknown cards in a remote. Looks like he took off 12 credits from Kadi to play that sure gamble. So I haven't used my ability too much in either. Let's see, I think that's a Boxy. It's been a while since I've seen that. I think that's the +2 hand size, +2 memory, console, fairly new. Looks like I'm using Jackson to draw. The way I place my click trackers, I place it on the action I'm doing. So Jackson has my first action there. Hopefully it'll be easier to track what I'm doing each turn. So I got a couple of cards, more ice, possibly setting up for a scoring attempt. Defending R&D as well, getting some using ice. I have plenty of credits now, but I have no res ice, so it could very well go really quickly. Blue Sun does like to have a lot of large ice because you can normally get it back, but what you have to worry about with Criminal is they could have emergency shutdown, so if they can get through to HQ and you res a big ice, you can lose all those credits with an emergency shutdown. Looks like Chris is just drawing up with Mr. Lee and loading up Kadi. May have to discard a card. Looks like he has a Garrote there, so he has really efficient breakers, although Garrote's pretty expensive and costs 2 MU, but the Boxy should be useful for that. He already has a Plascrete, so he's not found Plascrete early, so he's not as worried about the kill option now. I haven't attempted to score agendas. I probably have 2 or 3 in my hand right now, although that could have discarded some to shuffle in with Jackson. Looks like Chris is placing the counters on Plascrete at this point, just to signify how many, just in case he wants to take a few meat damage. It was always important to preserve the Plascrete as much as possible, so you would always take the credits. All right, looks like I'm using Oversighted Eye on the outermost ice. It does help with Curtain Wall because it does get bonuses being at the outermost ice. So although I don't want it to be in the most outermost ice because he does have a breaker that you can just break and jack out, the Curtain Wall bonus is the most outermost. It's probably the reason I put it there. And I'm using Jackson to shuffle back, so that's 1 Jackson used. It's one of those things you have to keep track of with Jackson, is how many are left. So there's 2 more out and about, possibly in my hand, possibly in R&D. Shuffling up. This is the first game. I believe it's round 1 or 2. It's early on. This is my first attempt at recording a game, so just kind of set it up in a game where there wasn't any huge stakes, just to make sure that it came out clearly. It's pretty well positioned, I think, so hopefully it'll come out well all the way through. So Corrupt comes down. I do put in another card in that remote. Most possibly a Jackson, possibly an Atlas that's not going to be over advanced. So might as well, if I'm going to get a cheap protection for a curtain wall and oversight AI, I might as well try to push something out. All right, looks like he has Garrote, second click, special order, I believe it's second click to get his last breaker. Now he has Gordian Blade. Looks like he has 8 or so, 7 or 8 credits left. Looks like he installed Gordian Blade. And is he going to run it or not? Double cut. Shuffle there. All right, taking the current one. So yeah, it looks like he just loaded Kadi on the last click. That was the last click. And I pick out the huge stacks. 14 credits coming from curtain wall. And I think the blue credits are going to be 2s. Keep it a little simple. Or maybe I think for tournaments I usually just let them be singles just so it's not confusing. So it looks like I have about 27 credits at this point. Was that an Atlas or was that something else in a remote? Looks like I'm deciding if I possibly should advance it if it was an Atlas. Chris is threatening to get in the remote, but possibly if I have a way to get rid of the Plascrete and the kill combo. Oh, it looks like it was just a Jackson. So I'm just going to shuffle up. So that's the second Jackson used. Shuffle up some econ, including that oversight AI. I don't know if I'm definitely thinking I should get more econ back, but why not? I'm not sure why I didn't just draw up, but maybe maybe I already had the kill combo, didn't want to flood my hand too much with other cards while I'm waiting for him to make a run. So 2 Jacksons down. The score is still 0-1. The Corp in the lead now. Okay, we'll have a cut and still 3 clicks to use this turn. Maybe I'll push another card in the remote to bluff, since it didn't go for the Jackson before. Okay, place them down nice. Likely the oversight AI, the curtain wall that oversight AI'd before, placing something in a remote and placing an advancement. So at this point, it's likely an agenda. Blue Sun doesn't have a lot of traps. So Chris is using Mr. Lee first click. Still way behind on credits. Does have Kadi, so he's taking, I think, 6 credits back. Looks like another. Okay, so he's got an inside job, so he's going for it. So likely to be able to get through. If that's a curtain wall, it's pretty expensive. So I'm double checking the ice there, see if I can pay for everything. Curtain wall takes away most of 3 stacks. And I'll just have around 11 credits. So a good play on Chris's part, make it pretty expensive. looks like I'm all right. So that's the one he bypasses, and he'll continue. I'm guessing, and it's just a caduceus. So a little bit of a tax. I spent 7 credits. He just has to spend 3 credits and has a bad pub for that. He gets an atlas for his trouble. I might have the sea source ready to maybe take out the plasticrete. So this is one of the first runs of the game. Okay, so he passes the turn over, took back the more expensive data pike. 4 credits back, so I have 20, 21 credits. I don't think I expected inside job there, but criminal most likely has it. So I was probably hoping him to spend a lot of credits. So I'm just putting down ice there, not a card in a remote, so I'm taking a credit. Looks like he has a sure gamble. I think the blues are 2, the reds are 3, and the yellows are 1s. So it looks like he's possibly running on HQ now. Gonna try to expose what I have in that remote. I have a Janus there. Pretty expensive, but Garrote can do a pretty good job against it. I think it's strength 8, so it's 6 to get the strength and 4 more. So I think it's 9 total. It does open me up if he does have emergency shutdown. Do want to get, I think the trick here with plasticrete is to get enough brain damage out with Januses that the plasticrete really isn't doing too much. Okay, looks like he spent most of his credits to pay for it. He may decide to jack out. Okay, I think he decided to jack out and load Kadi. So able to drain a lot of credits and get probably take the chance back. And now the most fun thing, mini sub game is where's the Janus? When you play games against Blue Sun in this era when Janus was around, any new ice could be Janus. Drawing up my mandatory draw. Deciding to draw again. I think I probably want to defend HQ again with some ice because it could be Janus. The runner doesn't know, so might as well place it down to keep the mystery alive. Okay, so it looks like I was just going for some more credits and got a restructure. I think possibly a mistake now, only 1 ice. Gets criminal, that most likely has siphon. So a lot of extra effort to draw into more cards to get econ when I could easily lose 5 credits against the siphon. But most likely against Wayland, they want to clear the tags. I'm still, okay, I think should be good with my discards. Okay, looks like 5 cards are out there. All right, Chris has a couple credits. Just loading Kadi. So maybe not enough credits to really threaten the run on HQ. I'm just taking a few more. Mandatory draw. I think I should put some kind of ice on HQ and possibly see if I have an agenda to try to threaten. Well, it's a pretty good scoring opportunity right now. Checking the ice I have there. So still have the 3 clicks. All right, so defending HQ this turn. $24 credits. Okay, I'm using Executive Boot Camp. I think I might go for a Jackson. I don't remember what else I have. I think I used Executive Boot Camp's ability to res ice and bring it back. Oh, or looks like I have Elizabeth Mills to clear the bad pub. Just is a huge deal. Maybe the better better asset to go for maybe an Adonis. That's the other thing I believe this deck had was an Adonis that you kept dripping through and playing the shell game with and reusing when it was almost ready to run out. But I might have already gotten the Adonis. But it's an easy way to clear a bad pub. Okay, putting another ice on HQ. Probably putting the Elizabeth Mills or some mystery card in a remote. I mean, most likely it's Elizabeth Mills, but it could be an Atlas. Yeah, the tricky thing there's not a lot of things to worry about if it's not advanced against Blue Sun. And with one Atlas out of the game in a runner score area, then they're oh, it looks like they do have the Adonis there. That's the Alt Art 1 netting, paying 1 and getting it. Let's see, do I pop it back right away? Usually like to run it, let it run for a few turns. Okay, so I'm just using it for a click for 3 over the runner's turn. Okay, so still have the 3 clicks, deciding if I should put it again or something else. Not really threatening a whole lot at this point, but I do have a lot of credits. But the scoring window is pretty much closed now. Runner has enough from Kadi to be able to contest something in a remote. Isn't making a whole lot of runs, but okay, now it's a bigger threat. Something that's double advance. Just in time for a good pull from Kadi. Looks like he wants to check HQ possibly. Not quite sure. So click 3. Sneak door. Okay, that makes more sense. There's a good chance that agendas build up in HQ. And you could use the expose effect to see what the remote is. So this is, but it's click 4. I think Kadi was click 1, HQ interface was click 2, sneak doors click 3, and one run on HQ through archives is click 4. So although the expose is helpful, can't really do anything with that information. Looks like you found Elizabeth Mills, trashes it, still has a bad pub, and sees one of the scorched earths. Or sees a scorched earth, could be multiple there. So at this point, it could be a 3-point agenda. This is before GFI, so it's still a real 3-point. I think government contracts or high risk investments, I believe, were the popular ones. Or it could be prior requisition. I think did get extra bonuses in Blue Sun because you can res large ice. I think I'm deciding now if I should put some ice on. Oh, it doesn't look like you used the expose. Or do we miss that? Should I probably want to defend archives now that the sneak door's there, or score this out? Looks like I just went. It was just a hostile, so I was threatening just to force pay it out. So I do have 3 clicks now to shore up archives. See if I have the ice for it. Blue Sun does like to run a lot more ice, especially this kind of glacier kill one. Putting another card to maybe getting rid of the agenda if he doesn't seem to be interested in running it. Don't remember exactly. Okay, so I'm just putting on Ice Wall, which he has more than enough credits for, but at least he has one less bad pub to trash cards that he may see in hand, so the Adonis will cost 2 real credits, I believe, if he wants to trash it. Okay, and then he sees a hive. And now run on R&D. Oh, he exposes the Caduceus on R&D. Maybe going for a big R&D event. So he knows the Scorched Earth, a hive, and 1 mystery card there. Okay, now he's going for a Maker's Eye on R&D. Now he knows that he can get through the bottom one. It's a curtain wall. So it's going to be pretty expensive. Is he just going to bounce off of it or pay through it? Not quite sure. He may be able to pay through it, but it's going to take him down quite a bit. I think most likely he'll just bounce off. Probably be the right call in this case. Okay, so he's just going to make a normal run through HQ, possibly. No, that wouldn't make sense. You could just sneak doors that expensive. When sneak doors that cheap, may be able to put that curtain wall on archives to kind of shut down the HQ access. I find another piece of big ice for R&D with 1 Maker's Eye down, or maybe just score out this agenda. See what I have for a turn. Looks like a priority requisition, so I can get a big ice for free. All right, so I'm just going to res that Yanis for Janus for free. So 15 credits. It's not too bad. Probably the best value for prior requisition in this era. It does have a follow-up Maker's Eye, so let's see if you can find anything. So it's just a Caduceus on R&D. It's pretty easy to break. Just one real credit. Not a steal. Not a steal. Oh, and there's one steal. So he has a second Atlas. So I'm slightly ahead on 5 points to 4. So it's a pretty close game. With Plascrete out, the kill threat is fairly low. Okay, and it looks like he's going on HQ. So a couple credits to trash that, but I think he'll leave it and sees a Scorched Earth. And it looks like a draw. I think that might be click 4, or click 3 or 4. I think it was, yeah, Maker's Eye, Sneak Door, draw. You might have one last click. I think it's going with into HQ, click 4. Hive. And at Executive Bootcamp. I'm thinking that Janus. Lots of credits at this point. If I have a mid-season, this is one of the best times to have it. Keep recycling Scorched Earth, although I only have the one Jackson left. But I have a huge lead, a huge scoring window, so just having an Ash and a large ice could be the way to go. But I may not have the ice at this, the agenda at this point, or the kill combo. So I'm defending R&D, not likely to have it if he's playing the third Maker's Eye. He may not have it right away. So maybe I just telegraphing that I have a bunch of ice in hand. So just defending R&D and the remote. Not too worried about getting accesses on HQ. Okay, so draw first click. Draw through Mr. Lee. Draw second click through Mr. Lee. Loading Kadi, taking a credit. So you just try and recover. I'm not putting too much pressure on him. So this is just good way to get options and start building up credits. So I'm drawing, maybe possibly looking for an agenda now. Might have put the Janus on the remote there. Have the Janus and the curtain wall there. And putting something in a remote. It could be the last Atlas. Could be an Adonis or another Elizabeth Mills. So may have to check just to be sure. But it's pretty hard to get there, or see if you can get lucky on HQ or R&D. R&D seems very difficult to get in, as does that remote. HQ, it's pretty easy, but if I had an agenda, I'd probably put it in the remote at this point, even if it's a 3-point agenda scoring over 3 turns. Maybe the right play could be a protective upgrade, but I think with the kill package, you don't have too much room for an Ash or a Caprice. I think was legal back then, but not a lot. May not have the influence for it. So Chris is thinking about it. It's like only like 3 or so credits, 3 on Kadi. So it's just going to go for HQ. That's the easiest thing. 5 cards in hand. Sees an Oversight, so that's a new card. Sees a Scorched Earth. Exposing, see the Janus on R&D. I guess I should stick to one pronunciation of Janus versus Janus. Janus is probably more correct natively. I think Janus is just the common way to pronounce it in American English. So maybe I'll just stick with, try to be more natively correct. Go with Janus. So he did find the Janus. Use Kadi and took Shirt Gamble, and letting just rolling the dice, thinking I'll be able to get into that remote. So it'll be the oh, looks like I'm making a run on R&D. The last ditch effort to possibly win the game. So res the toll booth. He has a couple bad pub. Use Gordian Blade. Then it's the Janus. Will he take the brain damage for the Axis? Looks like that's the plan. Try to be careful there, not expose any more ice. So that's a card to keep. The brain damage on everything else is there. He's just going to break through the Caduceus and see 1 card. Letting the game credits subroutine go. He does find an agenda. So he's up to 5 points. Okay, and I take the Janus back. So plenty of credits still. And now he is susceptible to Scorched Earth even through a Plascrete. So he'll need a second Plascrete to survive a double Scorched Earth. Okay, so I got the 15 credits back. And do I have a way to flatline? Probably not, since I'm not doing it right away. So I think that's a mandatory draw. draw up to see if I can get something. Okay, defending R&D still, signaling that the agendas are still there. It's getting pretty late in this game, so okay, I'm using Executive Boot Camp. May look for a Jackson to draw quickly to my combo pieces if I am going for the kill. The other part of the kill was the posted bounty, post to tags. They don't run it. So one is out of the game. I think I have another one in there. I saw in the shuffle. Okay, let's see. Probably should place the Jackson or remote and draw a couple cards. Or if I should try to bluff it out. Or I'm still worried about R&D. Possibly still worried about R&D. I think the agendas are there. Okay, laying down a card in the remote. Most likely the Jackson. Okay, so he has a couple credits. He can get into HQ. Still not concerned about HQ, or completely forgot about Sneak Door. So if Jackson's still left there, he could kill the third one without it being used. Seeing a Scorched Earth, Oversight of the Eye, exposing. Sees Archer there. So really hard to get through that remote. Through through R&D. Loading Kadi, drawing up. So pretty strong position. The corpus is pretty strong position now. But just one more successful access, likely on R&D, could win the game for Silhouette. So I'm just trying to make sure to keep R&D too expensive to even get one access. While I still have so I should probably go for Jackson and try to find some kind of agenda as quickly as I can. Or the rest of the kill pieces. And maybe that's why HQ is still really easy to get to, because I think I'm on C source now, so I just still need him to make successful runs. So if I make it too expensive, most likely the successful runs will be on something that will give him a good shot at an agenda. So I'm just doing with a single access, single click, one click, or single card click draw instead of using Jackson to get multiple draws. Probably just hoping to have enough clicks to install in advance if I do have an agenda. So just a hedge fund now, getting some credit. I have to discard some stuff. So Jackson's still in my hand, so he could trash it if he finds it through HQ runs. Oh, looks like, oh, okay, so draw hedge fund and click through as installing the remote, probably setting up Jackson for another turn, or it could have been the Atlas or a posted bounty that could use over multiple turns. The game has gone pretty long at this point, and we still have a second game to play. Chris probably doesn't feel he has a great shot, so maybe just check archives just in case. Okay, it looks like nothing there. Just in case I dumped some agendas there, and just to use the Jackson that I'd likely put in a remote. He's running HQ at this point to see if get the Jackson or another agenda I didn't properly deal with. So sees a sea source, scorched earth, and a scorched earth, and now he realized. So maybe I've finally gotten the kill combo. At this point, it doesn't have any many credits to get any useful accesses. So let's see what he'll do. It's just loading Kadi and sees that the just forfeiting, sees that I have the combo right there, and I think I just drew into the agenda as well. So, yep, there it is. Flatlined by Sea Source, Scorched Earth, classic kill. Thanks for coming back for this last video, and please come back for any more Netrunner content coming up.